Hello, this is Laura Live, and we're going live today from Palm Desert, California, where I'm about to go on NBC News to talk about Down syndrome. And we're sitting in my friend's beautiful home in the desert. And I want to talk a little bit today about how and when do you start Gemini, what age. So specifically for Down syndrome, since this is Down Syndrome Awareness Month, and we are going to be talking about Down syndrome on the news today, as soon as the child is born, it's my opinion that you should start using Gemini, because you want to hear that slowed down articulation that the program offers. You want the student, the child, the baby, the infant, the newborn to be able to differentiate sounds from a very early age and hear the slow articulation. You can speak that way yourself around the baby, but it will drive you crazy because you'll have to speak so slowly all the time. And it's just a lot easier having that going in the background. You can make sessions of just single words. You can make sessions of full sentences, full conversations that are slowed down, just to hear that in the background. And then once the baby is able to sit up, is in a high chair, then he or she can watch the videos in her high chair, and she will be growing up with that slowed articulation. As I've said before, we're embarking on a whole new generation of people with Down syndrome who grew up with Gemini, who grew up with this constant articulation. And we're going to see the empowerment in this community is going to be just mind-blowing. I'm really excited to see the future for this community when everyone can understand you. The difference in your confidence in your life. You know, depression is a huge issue with people with Down syndrome. When we think about people with Down syndrome as being really happy all the time and loving and this full of sunshine and the best, most wonderful people in the world, nobody knows the hidden sorrow that there's a vast, deep problem with older people with Down syndrome, with depression, serious depression, because if you go through your whole life and people don't understand what you're saying and then they treat you so badly, obviously, how else are you going to take that, especially when you just want to give love? So we're also being able to see improvements with adult articulation just really quickly, and people go from being sort of quiet and reserved and not wanting to talk even to being chatty, and their humor comes out, and we get comments all the time for parents. It's really sweet. As far as autism, when should you start using Gemini for autism? Well, it's the minute you think that there's a decline, the minute you think that, Johnny's not talking yet, Johnny's not progressing yet, Johnny seems to be behind his cousins or his peers. If you as a parent just have that little inkling there's something wrong, get on Gemini right away. We have students who've been using it since they were 1.5 years, 2 years old, and they're going into preschool in mainstream, up to peers in language, up to peers socialization. It's always the earlier you catch it, the better. So there's also this 2-year lag between the time when a parent thinks that there's going to a problem, like maybe suspects something, until they get a diagnosis. And too many people I see saying, I'm going crazy, I want to start therapy, but we still don't have our diagnosis. You don't need a diagnosis. You don't need a diagnosis. All speech problems have the same treatment with Gemini. It doesn't matter if it's apraxia, aphasia. So, having a little problem with the wireless connection, but we're going to wrap up really quickly here. The minute that you believe that there's a problem, start using Gemini. And if you have in your family a history of autism or language delay or Asperger's or anything similar to that, you may want to start even your 5-month-old on Gemini just to make sure. That's what I did with my 7th child, because we had it so much with the older children. I started him at 5 months, and there's no problem. I don't know if there would have been, but better safe than sorry. Gemini is so inexpensive. It's so easy to use. It doesn't take any away time from the family. So there's really no reason not to try it. So I am going to sign off now because my signal is really weak and I got to go on TV. I'll see you all later. I'll see you on Monday. Have a wonderful weekend. Send me those questions and I'll get them all answered on Monday. Bye. Oh, also you can subscribe and you can share these videos with your friends.